Credible information, TDN at the station, TDN Africa Media, for news and entertainment, TDN gets the latest, TDN Africa Media, Credible information, TDN at the station, TDN Africa Media, for news and entertainment, TDN gets the latest, TDN Africa Media, Credible information, TDN at the station, TDN Africa Media, for news and entertainment, TDN gets the latest, TDN Africa Media. Credible information, TDN at the station, TDN Africa Media, for news and entertainment, TDN gets the latest, TDN Africa Media. Credible information, TDN at the station, TDN Africa Media, for news and entertainment, TDN gets the latest, TDN Africa Media. Credible information, TDN at the station, TDN Africa Media, for news and entertainment, TDN gets the latest, TDN Africa Media. Credible information, TDN at the station, TDN Africa Media, for news and entertainment, TDN
It's a pleasant good morning to you. Welcome again to another edition of Salon Talk on TDN Africa Media. Thank you for joining me wherever you watch me from. Diana Coca.
And me not Theophilus Gbenda.
Well, as always, inside the program, we will bring you the headlines on the front page of the newspapers then. And we get exclusive interview with the World Food Program on, as they don't release the quarterly market price bulletin. Massy ship don't come back in Sierra Leone for 10 months. And the Sierra Leone police don't introduce the use of helmets for bike riders and also the passenger. We will also look at the concern where people in Nigeria they raise over Guinean soldiers. So all this, the inside this particular edition of the program Salon Talk on TDN Africa Media. Continue to stay connected with me as we go take you through the front page of the newspaper now. We get the first paper, and on the front page of the Open Space newspaper, the Open Space newspaper say NCRA, that the National Civil Registration Authority Chief Mohammed bin Massakoy vows CVRS will meet development needs of Africa. As Chief Minister appreciates their decisions, APC shows readiness to work with President Bio. And also on the Open Space, over corruption allegations, Canberra District Chief Administrator breaks silence. We'll move on with the Salon Compass newspaper. As lawyer Mara writes, Right to Access Information Commission, more trouble for electoral IMPs. Police rice supply, IGP, VIP successfully ending inherited backlog. We will now move to the Concord Times newspaper. On the front page, CSOs urge BO to appoint substantive Auditor General. Leon Rock Metal Group championing community upliftment and environmental consciousness. 500 million loans, Jagaban boost APC, mayors, MPs, and councillors. From the Concord Times newspaper, we move to the next paper, and the Calabash newspaper. The Calabash report over electoral information access denial. Over electoral information access denial. Augustine S. Mara Esquire petition right to access information commission. VIP police IG successfully resolved backlog in police rights distribution. World Bank's Pierre Laporte explores collaborative prospects with Finance Minister. From the Calabash newspaper, we take the indigenes. Pastor Mambu advises SLPP government to focus on agriculture. Solar-powered borehole constructed by Leon Rock Metal Group in Sogoma village. From the indigenes, we move on to Salon Times newspaper, and it gets a banner headline which says Change Cockroach Arata. Who killed Arata? Human Rights Commission Sierra Leone urged to host regular complaint hearing session. And also they get over 5 million mosquito nets to be distributed nationwide. From the Salon Times, we will move on to the Africa Communications newspaper. On the front page of the Africa Communications newspaper, you get Salon debt reaches $2.75 billion. Make French a core subject in schools on Sierra Leone's Ministry of Basic Secondary SSE's new curriculum, and SLRA Director tenure ends. From the Africa Community, okay, that's not the final paper for today. So we move on with the program Salon Talk on TDN Africa Media. Thank you for joining me wherever you do watch me from. We start with the very first issue, and that now we exclusive interview with one of the WFP staff, where we can talk about the price bulletin where they released recently. This bulletin they can release quarterly. So we will listen to this interview now. Increase in market price them in the every quarter of the year, when at 3 months, the World Food Program WFP they produce market price bulletin for look at the way and manner where price of basic commodity them they go. Waiting at the factors them were responsible and how the exchange rate for the dollar safe they perform. This bulletin they come up 4 times every year, and at the World Food Program in partnership with the government of Sierra Leone through the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, they join on for produce am. Inside this year, from January to June, WFP don't publish the first and second quarter bulletin, and they not show good sign for the country in terms of the all-round increase in market price them and the high cost of living where they affect the vast majority of the citizens them across the country. Well, for no more but waiting the inside the first and second quarter bulletin, TDN Africa Media note from WFP na SALONE for the attention of the general public. We get with we na the studio Bala Musa Kande, in the vulnerability analysis and mapping officer. Mr. Kande, thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, so let me begin for talk about this. Let me get a brief background of World Food Program and the work we they do at SALONE.
Well, the World Food Program, as you know, it don't take within this country, way back since 1960. It don't operate now in Sierra Leone. But the operation, the way we do now for help join government for support the zero hunger drive for ensure say hungry business no day in the country. We they support vast areas in Sierra Leone. One, we support school feeding activities. Because school feeding are one important thing and they be very important for the picking them so that they go for land more in school. And it motivates them for land more. And we also help the Ministry of Agriculture and the smallholder farmers them to we partner with them community farmers, the smallholder farmers them for building resilience, for make them become stronger for do them farming. We also help the nutrition aspect of Sierra Leone. We help them Cobra and then belly woman and then small picking them under 5. We help them to make them become somehow stronger and make them become malnourished. We help in that direction. We get a lot where we do in Sierra Leone, but in majority, the main thing we do in SALONE is support the government for end hunger, so that we go able to feed ourselves, we go able to become stronger as a nation. The main thing we do in SALONE is support the government for end hunger, so that we go able to feed ourselves, we go able to become stronger as a nation.
Okay, so let's focus now on this quarterly market price bulletin. Give me a brief history. What thing make you decide for publishing, for beginning publishing at SALONE? The main objective, what are the reason for that?
Well, the market price bulletin now a product we not to just WFP own, just like when you say in the introduction. Now the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, now then they really come up with the data, and we get this data from them through them planning, evaluation, monitoring, and statistics division. Now them with the support, we just like I tell you, the BFP in this country for support government, to make government able to meet in goals and in objectives. And one way for make government able to understand the situation, the food security situation of the country through prices, market prices. And the Ministry of Agriculture and the custodian for monitor the prices of food commodities in this country, especially the one who they grow in Sierra Leone, cassava, rice. Most of the commodities that they grow in Sierra Leone are the Ministry of Agriculture and they're responsible for monitor them prices a day. So we join on with the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, we're able to know exactly how them prices a day they go up and can up. So we don't able for partner with the Ministry of Agriculture for a very long time. But moving forward, we've been getting a break some because of the capacity, staffing, turnover of staffing. The program will don't stop. But we started back just after the Comprehensive Food Security and Vulnerability Analysis 2015. When we do this CFSVA 2015, we see the need for revamp the market price bulletin. So we do another memorandum of understanding with the Ministry of Agriculture. Since then, we don't publish, collect the data from the field through the Ministry of Agriculture staff them. Then we the support for do the analysis and reporting.
Now, all commodity on a strategic commodity, then the target, now this pricing analysis.
Well, not all the commodities that we target. We target the main staple, the key staples, the things that we Sierra Leoneans and really they eat. The food they eat, the food items, like the food basket of Sierra Leone. We target all the commodities already in the food basket of Sierra Leone. Then moving forward, we also target the wage rate of unskilled workers in this country, the daily wage labor. When I say the unskilled workers, for instance, the people already in the market, whether they push that wheelbarrow We can ask them within the daily money that they get. And then we ask people when they green granite market. Then people when they do then wage work them. Then the average Sierra Leonean waiting they able for earn per day. So that we're able to measure what they get versus the price of their commodities. We're able to know exactly what will be the comparison. Okay. We're able to know we call them in real technical language, the terms of trade, the TOT, the purchasing power of the unskilled workers. So now then we target 21 food commodities in Sierra Leone. Yeah.
So if you just maybe name some.
Yeah, we target.
Yeah, like. And let me look at the prices, how the prices they change.
Okay, like we target both imported and local rice. Then we target the all system like granite, talk about beans, then beans product. We target oil product, talk about palm with vegetable oil, fish product, fish product. We target them. Then we target meat. We target onion, maggi, salt, pepper, all cassava leaf, potato leaf, cassava, gari, all the products, about 21 of them. Yeah, I think sugar and then the last product we target.
So over the years, or they do on quarterly, 310 per year.
No, not to quarterly. They do this data collection weekly. Yeah, we get.
Well, they publish the findings quarterly.
Exactly. The findings will be published quarterly. What they do, we staff them within our field through the Ministry of Agriculture staff them, the monitors them, the statisticians them, or the data collectors. Then they go collect this data, real-time data. Then when they don't collect this data, they send them to they send the aggregate data per district, because all the 16 districts in Sierra Leone we get dedicated staff in where they collect this data. So now then we go collect this data, then aggregate and send them to me. When we then send them to me, we then analyze them, we give a meaning, then we report on them. So that the understanding that the MOU this way we get. Then we compare with the macroeconomic indicators like the exchange rate, the inflation rate, the unemployment rate, and the GDP. Then we rewrite the implication of price dynamics, price change. So that's what we write with.
So how this last bulletin is what you have published? So how it look like in terms of
well, as you said, know, the prices them over the period don't they increase rapidly. So food, from statistics here, the food inflation they go close to 56 to 58 now. The food inflation. So the prices them of all food commodities they go up, with the exception of some commodities and way seasonality they affect. So in terms of the season. like palm are the only product where the last quarter where we get some decline because of the seasonality. Say sometimes in the year where the particular product they become scarce in the market, sometimes in the way they become surplus. So and our price that when you do pricing, the term way is scarce, it will increase. The term way the surplus will be in the market, it will fall.
So you get to do with demand and supply.
Exactly. So now demand and supply.
Demand high, then the price.
But are they telling me, viewers and listeners, that they tell me say prices of commodities in this country, food commodities, really aggregately, if you get all the prices and they go up and they skyrocket. Like for example, like gari, inside the last quarter, the price of gari will go up so much. But when we look at we notice it because of the price of rice. When at the close, when the close substitute cassava products, when at the close substitute of rice. So if it press in price, they go up automatically. Then substituted because of the price you did on. So people will demand for more. So the demand, so that will make the price go up. In final say, even the price for one cup rice and one cup gari, they almost did the same, if not the same, inside the last quarter. So that we see that in this country. So we notice the prices they go up really because of one the exchange rate we exchange it in the country. We compare that with other countries, like especially the dollar, the money in value they depreciate. they really depreciate. So basically, that's one of the things where they make prices they go up. Also seasonality, like I tell you, seasonal factor. Something in the way, if now the harvesting period they meet up, so until the price they will come down small. But if they meet up, say the harvesting don't do, the price they shoot up. Yeah.
So, I think say this can really help government and can guide them in terms of how to invest more into the activities they do.
Well, the reason that we make they do this kind of thing. Now for when they do one more for go put them on the shelves. Now for make policy makers them the program people who they do program targeting, where they plan their programs, so that they will be able to know exactly how they will be able to plan their activities. Because for instance, if you get for do supply of products for your activity, say inside the next quarter, September, October, November. October, November, December. You want to do a project. So you get to really understand how the prices they go up and how they come down. Otherwise, if you say you go by the current price, it will be affected. Your project will be affected. So this price bulletin, they really guide people in terms of how the trend they go. So you're able to guide them exactly how they're able to set the targets them and how they're able for plan their activities them. So now one of the key objectives and it's very important because they make we don't know exactly whose side the prices that they go up and whose side they come down in the country. If you look at the bulletin, it will show you exactly the price direction. Yeah, it will show you if Nabo, how the price of Gari, they go up Nabo, how the price of rest, they go up na Kenema or na Kono, Palaba, Karine, all the 16 districts. So you're able to know exactly whose district, the district where you want for target, you know how the price they go up and down.
So this bulletin, now SALONE no more in the producer.
Really not to SALONE no more. This is a global tool of the BFP. But to be very honest with you, then they produce them globally, then they produce them at regional level, West African level, like Dakar. Now for we there in West Africa and Dakar. So they produce them at global level and at regional level. But it depends to the capacity of the country. Some countries they get the capacity and get the staffing, then able for do their own country-specific bulletins, then they get a dashboard. We get a global dashboard, then we get a regional dashboard. Where you click with a click of a mouse, they show you the country, then the country it will show the prices of the commodity, then key commodities that I mentioned earlier on. So for Sierra Leone, we don't also develop that kind of system. We don't get a dashboard. So with a click of a mouse, we're able to know the price direction of then we key food commodities in Sierra Leone.
So how long will they produce this quarterly bulletin, and what you really hope to achieve? Well,
this, as I tell you now, one of the key things that WFP they do, because we in a food business, how we do. So we want to know exactly how the local content, how the price of the food they go up and handle. So not to think this way, we will stop. We will continue to do them as far as within Sierra Leone. A program we will continue to do. For able for guide we programs them, for able for implement we programs successfully.
Only we don't start for talk about say you know, they work with the Ministry of Agriculture, they can extend the staff that are different. Because one for know really the methodology you know, apply to put this bulletin together.
Okay, this is a very good question. In terms of methodology, the market price bulletin, we identify 60 markets then across Sierra Leone. We do sampling, we random sampling. So these 60 markets cut across all the 16 districts in this country. And then we start, the methodology starts. We do what we call the sampling. We sample the markets then. Some districts they find out, say, sometimes we'll get food markets, sometimes are just one or two, sometimes just one market then good day. But some districts they also now Luma, they go to the Luma, a periodic markets, then it depends on. So we try for sample, we ensure saying we able to get all the country, 16 district representative, then we get at least 5 markets now at most 5 markets. Now at least 3 markets. At least 3 markets, at most 5 markets. So that we will forget between 60 markets in this country. Sierra Leone. So then markets, and we identify with commodities, then we have 21 food items. Then we develop with tools, with questionnaire. Then we give them electronic scale. We train them with electronic scale. When they go to markets, then they weigh each and every product, with the exception of the unskilled labor. They weigh them products a day. Then they ask for the unit price, then they do the necessary conversion. Then they come up with the price per kilogram. You understand? For example, if 1 cup rice costs 4,000 euros, I just give you an example. Then they get for weigh that 1 cup rice. If that 1 cup rice, you weigh 0.25 kilogram, when are the standard weight for 1 cup. If they weigh, for example, 0.25 kilogram, then they take the price of that 4,000 divided by 0.25, we will give you a number. So that number that we give, then the price per kilogram for that particular commodity in that particular market, a particular day.
And that's what you use for determining.
Yes, exactly.
The prices then.
Exactly.
Okay. Now let me look at the increase in fuel price, how this will affect the 3rd quarter bulletin in terms of market inflation and the global economy.
Fuel now a commodity when a very, very sensitive commodity. So at any time fuel price increase, and the electric na the layman, the post itself where it is the least village in this country, you understand say fuel na the way it affect price. Because one, when fuel price increase, the transportation, they just go for increase. The drivers, they're sensitive. They will increase and sometimes more than the price, more than the way I increase. So, and we get what we call trade dynamics. People they now upline, they did in the rural areas, we then depend on Freetown for certain commodities. Then also we depend on the rural communities then for certain items in Freetown. So, and waiting they move them commodities in transport. So when the transport go up, the people, the traders, they say, what did they do? they use me as we the final consumers. Now they pass the burden to me. Then they increase the price of the commodity. They go increase the price. For example, if that person they pull in cassava leaf, now mostly they pull in cassava leaf na Moyamba, the Kauta na Freetown. Or they pull in Pamana Pambato, Kauta na Freetown. So if you pull in Pamana Pambato, here I'm gonna Cambia for Ghana and Guinea. The price may be the pay yesterday, and the price will they pay today. If it's different, automatically it will increase the price. So now, so fuel without if even if you're a layman, you understand the fuel, the commodity and the way they determine one of the factors that really make prices they go up or can go.
So Sierra Leone as a country, here we don't see the ratings as the 3rd hungriest nation in the world, and most households they live in abject poverty, and the increase in prices they really affect the vast majority of Sierra Leoneans as a country as a whole. You know, from what they find out, say they really cause how it affects Sierra Leoneans then.
Well, this is a very broad topic where you come up with. So this is a very broad topic. So in terms of food insecurity, for me, I'll show you the factors then where they determine, where they make SALONE, the food insecurity, the increase in SALONE. This, we don't the right time, we don't publish a lot of reports in this country. We don't do the 2015 Comprehensive Food Security and Vulnerability Analysis. We make recommendations and we identify the drivers of food insecurity. Then also the latest CFSVO called Comprehensive Food Security and Vulnerability Analysis we do 2020, we also identify the drivers then. If anybody will get access to if you can go on the internet, the books that you understand. But We all not stop there. We also do what we call the food security monitoring system. A system, because the CFSV we do them every 5 years. So the food security monitoring system, we do them twice every year. We do them during the post-harvest time, that is between January to February. Then we do them also during the lean period, like when they prepare for going around. That's now between August, September. So they reporting all when they give the drivers of food insecurity. But for the benefit of Sierra Leoneans and for the benefit of viewers, one of the key factors of food insecurity now food availability. The root causes. Therefore identify the root causes, which really they make they get food. One, now availability, food availability, and the food availability, the key line there, the underlying thing there is talking about what? The production, food production. So, and food production, if the production of food not too dim in the country because of certain underlying factors, maybe because of the farming practice, what we do in the country. Majority of farmers them now subsistence farmers them. You understand? They need to do that kind. They need to do that kind of mechanized farming, and the tools that they use, the tools them too low, like hoe, cutlass. They don't even forget. And if even they get the tool set, the soil itself, the soil, sometimes they go for use fertilizer. But one of the things that we recommend now for make Sierra Leone get a comprehensive soil testing. If we're able to do a comprehensive soil testing, we're able to know exactly who side for puts this fertilizer A, fertilizer B, fertilizer C. Otherwise, you would use fertilizer, you don't know, say you just waste your money. You understand? The production not will be this, not will be fruitful. So the root causes, we really therefore identify ways then for improve the agricultural system in this country, because production is our problem. Most of our farmers then, when they don't produce, and at one time that they harvest, they need to do what we call year-round farming. You know, so they need to do that rain-fed agriculture. You understand? Just for one time, when they harvest, you don't. You understand? Some countries they do irrigation. You understand? Then they do irrigation, and you go for really try for come up with ideas and try for put modalities in place for ensure say the country able to feed itself. I'm glad the way the government of Sierra Leone this now the agenda now one of the key focus for now.
Exactly, and meaning that if farmers therefore do all the practice when they see the best practice that they need more resources, the government need for invest in the farmers then.
Exactly. Agriculture, if for be something way for be a capital something. It don't for be just labor intensive. And if you make agriculture be capital intensive, you get for use resources. As I tell you, you get for use what we call mechanized tools. You understand? So it go for instance, for a plot of land where you will use something 1 month for cultivate, something within 2 hours, within a day, you will be for cultivator. It's just small labor. You understand? So now the resources, really government, we need the political will. Governments really need for coming as the governments they try for states say now agriculture and the focus.
Exactly.
And that's I believe say if really they give agriculture the attention where you need, I believe say Sierra Leone like a green country. If you go to other West African countries, other African countries, then you see see green, it's very, very difficult. But Sierra Leone, God bless me with the natural resources. So we just need for manage them well, and we need the political will. Governments really need for support, give the support, and not just the support, they for monitor them well. The monitoring of the monitoring of the agricultural activities, it will be robust. It will be robust because we don't see year in year out projects and non day, but the project that we still a grumble say we're not going for feed we save.
And
really,
now,
the monitoring, governments really need to focus on the monitoring.
the president, no less a person, His Excellency the president, don't dedicate his second term to a mission for feed the nation. So with all the problems that we think say this go visible within in 5 years time.
Yes, what is the way not possible? There is, I believe say once the presidents don't give a vision, they get a vision, they get a clear-cut vision, and I believe say with the support of international partners them and the government, if really they give the support we agriculture need in this country, I believe say it will be a thing, food insecurity will be a thing of the past. We will forget what's hungry in this country. And I believe say Sierra Leone, one day we will talk and say, we will talk about as a history. The way they see things, they go, I believe say if they really they go with that kind of way, you understand, I believe say we will really succeed as a nation.
So they need to put more resources.
Exactly.
And monitoring, as you earlier stated.
The monitoring aspect is very important. When I say monitoring, you know, anything we do for make it become effective and efficient, you get for oversee, you get for the see waiting they happen. You know, they go put your money, then you left them. If you know exactly whether you give that money, why you get that money, and how you get that money, and what you expect, what are your expectation. So if now $1 million say they spend or $1 that they spend on agriculture, therefore know how they go and how therefore they monitor them. Therefore they monitor the activities there. Because if they monitor them well, I believe say the wastages them, the leakages they no there. You understand? The thing there will be something like a good answer for we all in this country.
They're able to utilize the resources them.
Exactly.
And improve production.
Exactly.
You know, so let's talk about the distribution of the bulletin. How you know they go about it? What are in a target?
Well, the bulletin will target the donor community and we partners them, including the government. We target everybody. We get which we call the Food Security Working Group, which comprises of all the people who they do agriculture and food security activities in this country. As long as you are registered with the Ministry of Agriculture, you are part of that Food Security Working Group. Then we get other organizations where they get something for do with agriculture and food security. Apart from that, we also publish to the government and the partners there. And we publish to the donor communities. Also, this bulletin, it go globally. As I mentioned earlier on, we get a global bulletin, but we also with the publishing globally and with the publishing regionally, West African level.
And the bulletin, it seems to be highly academic documents, the statistics, the mathematics, the figures, them, you know. So how you not going to make the ordinary man? You get some farmers, they will not say some farmers they're highly educated, but you get some they will really need for benefits, so know what exactly, you know the trend, how things they happen at the country for making them able to understand these documents.
Well, when you say mathematical and statistical, yeah, not so. Because we not be able to do otherwise because now statistics, now the collection, compilation, analysis, and presentation of data. Then statistics. We don't then graph the way they see so. We get narrative. Each of the graphs then get a narrative. We summarize them. We find out say for each graph, we give the explanation. We try to explain how that graph they move. For example, we will tell you say when you compare the price of rice, imported rice from last year to this year, it increased by this %. And when you look at the graph, they see the percentage there. They see them dots the way they see so. So now the trend, now the price trend and there. So the table them also now the same thing, they give the price direction. With the price they go up with the candle or a normal, you understand? Now the price direction. So we don't explain that. So basically, even the layman, I believe say, if we're able to read that short, that small narrative we did before you come to the graph, then they give you a kind of summary of what's in that graph. So that's not make we not to graph them what they put. If we so if not that we want for do, we don't just put table, but we'll get right up. We write for each table or each graph, we must write something. So that now for make, just like we say, for make the layman understand, then we could do that. So we don't see some bulletins, they now just tell them what we see. It's just they see table and graph. But we try to make them very simple. Make them in a way that we able for understand. The layman will able for read them, you understand exactly.
But in an event, for break and down, you not see the role of the mass media very important in all this.
No, the role of the mass media cannot be emphasized. Now make we on send an invitation. I believe say with management not take them light because they want to really make people know what's in our product and what we need to do. You understand? So the mass media is their role is very important. The only thing, so people like tend for deviate from reporting. You understand? They want to get gains. They want to make gains out of report. Maybe something don't like the system or don't like the particular organization. So then they want to make gains out of the report. The only thing, if it reports on the bulletin, at least give the actual, not deviate out of it. So the mass media really is very important because now the last product, now then they disseminate. So the last man make them able to understand, like what would they pronounce? Is I believe say if the viewers and be able to understand exactly what we do and how the price that they go and the discussion they go able to know and better. So I did tell you plenty thank you for this invitation when I extend to me. And on behalf of the BFP management, we really appreciate the media, especially when we invite me for can discuss this particular bulletin.
Okay. And I will take into consideration the role of the media. Very, very important for disseminate the
Exactly.
Well, we want to say plenty thanks to the guest, Mr. Bala Musa Kande, and the vulnerability analysis and mapping officer at the World Food Program. Thank you for your accepting the invitation. I can talk to you. Well, that's now an exclusive interview with WFP on the market price bulletin. The program that's SALONE Talk on TDN Africa Media, Diana Kuka.
Theophilus Gbenda.
Okay. We could go very quickly. I think we'll just take one of the headlines then, and this particular headlines from the newspaper gets for do with the amount of money we see Jagaban. They say it donates to APC, MPs, councillors, and cut across.
Okay, well, I think say that in a goodwill gesture for just tell the elected APC MPs and councillors, therefore say you guys are not left on your own. Hold firm to the party's decision to stay off until the party decide otherwise. So this is unprecedented, and Jagaban is not the only wealthy person in the APC. So I hope say other APC members go follow suit. But the most important thing is that we know for say negotiations are ongoing between the SLPP and the APC. We hope for say then go do the best for resolve them politically.
Okay. So we then move on with the very first issue. With second issue inside the program, because we don't get the interview already with the FP, whether the mastership don't come back na SALONE for 10 months. We all know that major operations that can take place during the term na SALONE. If you attend to a lot of people and all what that they do for people, them for patients, them are free. That's not the most important thing. That people that they go for medical care, na mastership, and then they pay. I don't know if you don't change this term, this particular term around, but most of the time when they can come, they provide free medical service to patients.
Well, thank you very much for introducing that, Madam Diana. Mastership is a project, and so the methodology in the change, and that methodology is to go around the world, especially side where they are in need of medical attention, and go render free service. It's free. They do all kind of operation once they get the expert on board the ship. Free of cost. And this is golden because it comes once in a blue moon. So the ship now arrived at SALONE, and you can watch at the screen. Perhaps we technical man will even play the just few seconds video and listen to the welcome where the ship crew gets na the country. All right. So you don't see that. You see people welcoming the ship. You see nurses, they all dance. Then other people, they of course, security people, and the ship. They now na the Queen Elizabeth Key, and it gets a special space where they dedicate to them because they pack for 10 good months where they in a SALONE, and during that course they don't already register 5,000 people them. Out of that 5,000 day, you get 2,350 where the yoke is very serious and demand surgery. So which means within this 10 months period when the ship go there, they will look after a total of 5,000 people, but then the 2,350 they get severe cases where, like I stated earlier, demand surgical operation.
So prior to the arrival of the ship, the registration will already take place.
Oh yes, that is what I found to be very unfortunate, because the closure or the closing date for registration now be the 12th of May 2023, and some of we.
How many people are where?
Oh, very few people them. Very few people them. Somebody from the ministry was on radio this morning. They asked them, we are people aware. They say where they will send out flyers. Flyers. Why they not going to radio? Why they not going to radio? Why they not going to television? They just send flyers, and flyers are limited in circulation. So now only few people know about this. Few medical officials they were directly they work with massive ship and they be know, and so whatever thing would have happened. But what is clear is that the registration deadline was the 12th, Friday, 12th of May 2023. Mind you, May, June, July, August, because at the beginning of August, now the ship for actually start to operate. So if the ship delay for count small. So for May, they don't done with registration. So you will ever get any critical case, today they ask the question, is it possible for the people that want to know and will get very serious need for medical attention in case they want for Canada for bring the come in? They say the possibility very, very slim. The other possibility is that out of the 5,000 where they don't register, if anybody drop, either because of death or because certain person not show up, this and that space they can fill them. So there is little opportunity for being on board new people there, because even the president when he received the massive ship delegation, this now what he said we are excited and I am particularly happy to know that 5,000 people with health conditions in Sierra Leone have already registered to benefit from the services the ship will render. So I wish you a happy stay in Sierra Leone, the president told the delegation.
So the person who you talk about in the interview, you not talk how they do this registration?
Well, they say they send out flyers, and massive ship officials then go right around the country, now various medical centers for go register the people there. And the massive ship people there, the business not for publicize the thing, now for just go register. So they call, well, they want for call. So I feel to say this na lesson learned. Enough for massive ship can a SALONE, then the registration process go secretly. It's that's very unfair. Otherwise, I mean, some of the people that were for really reach out to they're not going to reach out to them. Like
when
I
need
see
the service most.
exactly.
You know.
Like I see one boy, I even share in our group where get foot cancer. You see the foot does swell. They even they say now within few days they for cut the foot, otherwise they will in life go there at risk.
Exactly.
These are the type of people where mastership for look after. You see?
Because then family can't afford.
Oh
the
yes.
cost.
Imagine
You know?
now the baba where they give a cut a foot in the beg now to people them. So they wanna help me. Like there's this money they say about 6 million for go cut me foot. Can you imagine? You there in the stress where they go for go cut your foot, then you back the firm money. So do you wanna help me like let they go cut my foot? Otherwise my life there at stake. So you see it's a very unfortunate and painful situation. But the fact of the matter is that this is the biggest medical ship in the world. The biggest medical ship in the world, and you know many people stand for be targeted, but unfortunately we are concerned that the way where the registration process go, we think to say they will review in the next coming of the ship.
So how often the ship can come?
Once, I think once in a year time. Once in a year time, because they get many other side they for go.
Once in a year.
Yeah, I started to correct whether not once in a year.
Not quite too sure.
Yeah, not quite too sure, but
Because
at least to say
they
because there's little information about massive ship really. So if you say no more information for be given about massive ship because it's very important for us to know.
Okay, well, we hope that next time they will do the right things. You know,
Well, we hope
people
so,
are
yeah.
aware.
Yeah.
You know, go reach out, the mass media, go on the radio stations.
Exactly.
Then, make people know say you need for go register.
It's not a secret.
And,
It's not a secret.
I think say therefore able for assess the case then.
Yeah.
You know, assess the case them and say this we can treat here locally again. This we can wait for a massive.
Exactly.
You know.
You're right.
Anyway, now lessons learned going forward. So we move on now with the next issue. This get for do with saving lives. You know, the use of helmets.
Okay.
The Sierra Leone police don't reintroduce this mainly practice for make drivers them bike riders that they use the helmet and also passengers who use the helmet.
Yes. Well, this is a very serious matter. It's a very serious matter because most accidents when they happen, they're related to Okada riding, and many people they don't die as a result. Some man don't broken foot, some man don't come out, some man don't bust a head, so many other things there. So the reason for use crash helmets now for ensure the safety of the rider and the pylon. Also pylon for motorbike, you refer to the passenger, and most time even the Okada riders have to use helmets. And professionally speaking, if you use bike, you will adhere to safety measures. And one of the key safety measures is the use of crash helmets. And if you the Okada man they use helmets, then the pylon or the passenger self for use helmets.
So the passenger, let me just use the passenger.
The passenger self for use helmets.
Simple English for
And-
everybody able to
and-
understand.
yeah, you're right. And
the
this-
idea is that
And this nothing where the police will be enforced vigorously. What to make it stop now the outbreak of the coronavirus. Because if this person gets corona, he don't use this helmet, then this other person self come, he can't use that helmet, then an easy transmission. So that make them stop the use of helmet by passengers. But you the Okada rider, you for still use helmet because you're not supposed to share them with nobody. So now, corona don't go away with say Papa God thank you. Right? But the fact of the matter is that the police now say they for reintroduce the use of crash helmet by both the rider and the passenger.
so the bike rider for getting possession another helmet for
Yes,
passenger.
exactly.
Because passenger did not get helmets, they work out.
Yes, it is on the.
But as I said, the fear that people they sweat a lot.
Oh yes, of course. So Nanabek can say whether the police they do an independent assessment for CCA health-wise, people are going to be safe for use and reuse helmet. Because apart from what he talks so, you also get hepatitis B, where they also go around, and standing back is very transmissible. So therefore, make it to say the police them therefore also emphasize on the fact say people should be able to carry their own helmets. That is the best practice. If you know say you're a regular bike user, a good fellow you carry your helmet. Otherwise, you are left with no option but to use the helmet provided by the Okada rider. And when the Okada man they go buy bike na the shops them, they are given only one helmet. So I think to say the police have also talk to the one that back when they sell the motorbikes, they say where person can buy bike, if you give 2 helmets.
And automatically the price will change.
Well,
so no, yeah, for free.
well the price is already very exorbitant. And the price is exorbitant because there's a serious cartel. Now one guy person the face can buy in the country. One person.
Now?
Yes. One guy person the physical helmets motorbikes in the country. So in fact most of them we own borders the way they go to Guinea for go buy bikes and that. This one person will get this will get monopoly.
It gets different.
Oh yes, well now for now
judge, you get this,
yes,
you get a lot of
exactly. Well for now I'm not for saying that one person we're going to do further investigation on this because it's a kind of cartel. We're going to do further investigation for know whether indeed now one person will get right for physical bike in the country. You know, you get certain commodities there when now one great person, even rice, not to all man the physical in the country, even onions, even yabas. One man physical yabas in the country. That yabas the April, then the one that will go monopoly over them, they don't allow for even offload them. So government therefore they allow this kind of monopoly because it limits the space for competition, and without competition, one man they determine the price, and the price can always be on the high side.
Exactly.
You see? So a lot of people say the best way forward is that people should be able to carry their own helmet along. It's disturbing because it's an extra load. Because even for the Okada rider, an extra load for them for hold 2 helmets. For hold your helmet, for use your helmet in the head, they hold one more helmet in their hand for the passenger in the cabin. You see? So that means to say more therefore take care of.
Okay, so we move on now. We go to the final issue, and this now the concern of residents them Sierra Leoneans they went up that area the Yenga.
Yes.
They get serious concern about the action or the behavior of Guineans.
The Guineans sold us to the maneuver around because you know the Guineans they contest the ownership of Yenga. As far as they're concerned, Yenga belongs to the Republic of Guinea. But then if you look at the map of Sierra Leone, you will find Yenga there. Me, I don't look at the map of Guinea. I don't see Yenga do. But I see the map of Sierra Leone. But the other thing is that the Guineans they don't infiltrate Yenga to an extent that it is no longer under our control. Right?
It's not a very long-standing issue.
It is a very long-standing issue from Tijakaba in Teb. Right? From Tijakaba in Teb.
No headway, you know.
Now, the Guineans they're in the process of erecting a whole barracks in Yenga. And now they are doing a lot of maneuverings. Trainings, and all of that. So the residents in that area did not feel safe anymore. So they are complaining that they want government to intervene. And so far the government has not done anything.
And there was a time that the vice president will not meet in Guinean counterparts on that particular issue.
Well, nothing came out of it. As far as we know, nothing came out of it. Even President Bio, the current head of states, Dumbuya, right? President Bio don't go meet in Guinea. Instead of come SALONE with heavy force, as he goes so. Now he said man the first Nigeria for good deploy. You see, So as far as we are concerned, the Guinean people are much more serious about Yenga than we are serious about maintaining our territorial integrity. So it's a very serious matter.
Any idea how important that location is?
It is very important because it is part of Sierra Leone. It is strategic because it is part and parcel of Sierra Leone. Right? It is our territorial integrity. That alone, forgetting about any other benefit when you come out from Yenga, the most important benefit is that it belongs to Sierra Leone. I remember when Alpha Kano, where Nabi the presidential spokesman for Anes Bekuma, the former president, and now presidential spokesman for Julius Bada Bio, it talks say the Yenga issue has been addressed. right? Yes, it's it has been addressed. And look at it now. Yenga is still under the firm control of Guinea, and we are doing nothing about it. It will be a shame if President Bio do this other 5-year term. He don't do the first term, nothing happened to Yenga. It remains in the control of under the control of Guinea. So if President Bio go and now resolve the Yenga issue, then he's already a big failure.
So if
it's a big failure.
If engagement don't fail so far, because they don't engage a lot over Yenga, what do you think say President Bio for do?
President Bio say they pursue diplomatic means. Meanwhile, the Guineans are pursuing military option for say we not can try now. And we're not going to try Guinea. We're not going to try Guinea. But we see where Guinea kind of SALONE, where the head of state come. You see the kind of weaponry. I mean, whoever they say they want, they say, whatever they are, but not try they want to get jet bombers there. Well, we don't get no one, sir. We don't get no one. So we have to be very serious.
We don't go on that part at all. We don't go there try that.
No. We cannot even try it. We cannot try it. We cannot try it. Right? But what Miller says that it will be a big shame on President Bio for left power without resolving the Yenga issue. It will be a big shame. A disgrace. It will be a disgrace.
Well, we hope that the president will meet again. They will meet with him and counterpart them the Guinea and see how they will resolve this issue. You know, now for the safety of people that will tap.
Yes, but now the relationship therefore being much more strained because of this ECOWAS, the decision on Niger. And you know, say Guinea, Mali, Burkina Faso, when a military stated, when a heads of state, they all don't say they are going to side with Niger, which means anybody where they are against Niger, Guinea itself will be against them. And so Guinea is against Sierra Leone right now.
Because we get already they can get the Ponayasu.
Oh yes, of course.
Well, on that note, that's how we come to the end of the program today, Salon Talk on TDN Africa Media. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your time. We hope for the again on Friday. Till then, have a blessed day.
Okay, Diana Coca and Mina Theophilus Gbenda, who want to say plenty thank you to WFP, where they got with an exclusive interview. They also want to say plenty thank you to Tijani Bangura, who will give you the necessary technical supports. Thank you very much. Till Friday.